Where do you start with tire pressure, and which way do you go, and why? Now, obviously, this isn't an answer about anything. It's just give me some methodology that you think about, and like, why would something? Obviously, you can find no grip on either end of the spectrum if you did something wrong, but it's like, where do you sort of start, and where do you sort of think about it?
Let me jump in before Mike starts.
Jump.
Because this guy is like, he works, when we're at a national race, the amount of effort he puts into figuring out the tire pressure is pretty astonishing. And he almost always gets it spot on. And each one is going to be a little different. So it's the product of a lot of trial and error and tracking what you start with and what you finish with. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's really good at it.
Absolutely. And it's like, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think there's not a definitive answer for it. Obviously, it changes from multiple different factors. But it's like, I don't have a freaking clue. Where do you start, and which way would you go, and which way would you expect to see a change if you went harder or softer?
In generalized terms, the process that I use,
and then go take a picture of your notebook and send it to us.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding about that.
But the process that I use at a national race, I mean, I put a lot of effort into it, and I'm pulling information from a lot of different sources. Obviously, what the driver feels is very, very important. What the tire looks like, reading that tire. And knowing what to look for while reading it is important. Asphalt temperature plays a role. The driver's tendency.
See, now you're so into this. Okay, you've already blown past where I go.
Yeah.
So now I'm like,
so to get back to basic stuff, let's get to club level stuff.
Club level, okay. 1 pound either way, 2 pounds either way.
In general rules, okay, if we're running a medium soft tire, which is what, if we're going to be running a soft tire at club level, it's going to be kind of a medium compound range. And I would say, okay, start at, say, 10 pounds of tire pressure.
Yeah, that's a round number.
Yeah. All 4 tires, 10 pounds. And run that cart. If you're really into it at that point, you can start to feel when you're driving, say you get 10, 15 laps into a session, you can start to feel when those tires are going off, when you're starting to get a little slidey. Come in at that point and check your tire pressures hot. As soon as you get out of the go-kart, instantly check those pressures. And they're going to be all over the place. You might have a rear that's 15 pounds and a left front that's 13. And kind of take a look at that and say, okay, this tire rose by 3 pounds. This tire rose by 3.7 pounds. This one was 2. And say, okay, I want to make all of those come in at 14 pounds, for example. And then make those adjustments on your cold pressures based off of that. And it can get really a lot more technical than that.
It's like I don't want to go more, but that's a very good indication. But so now
Kenny's like, that sounds like too much work.
No, it doesn't. It sounds actually very clever because
now, what I will say is I don't even do that when I'm driving club level stuff.
No,
I don't do that. I just set it. I'll say, okay, I'm going to start out at 9.5 pounds. And I'm going to run it. And if I get a couple laps into the race and it doesn't feel like it's coming in quick enough, the next time I go out, I'm going to add 0.2 of a pound. That's why the tire pressure gauge is the most important tool.
And I was going to bring that up because both you guys championed that statement on one of the earlier shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I'm doing it, I'm generally just looking for. I look at the lap time histogram. Boop, 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 boop.
Yep.
And you're looking for when it peaks. Or it's actually going to be like this because it's going to be faster, faster, faster. And then when it starts coming back up. So you're looking for when it falls off.
Yep.
It's going to fall off at some point. Like you can't make it. You would have to run super low and then it would never come in. So you're looking at how fast does it come in and when does it
go to?
When do the lap times start getting worse? And then you're trying to sort of make that maybe the middle of the race, or
I like it,
or have it go and kind of slowly You know what I'm saying with the histogram, right?
I absolutely do, and it's one of those things that if you've taken geography or geometry and just a little XY graph, and this is and that is, and
Yeah.
you have time, and then your metric, and for sure you're going to create a curve.
Yeah, so for a club racer, I would say that's what you pay attention to is the lap times. You know, if it immediately gets to your fastest lap and then it just starts slowly getting worse, then your tire pressure is too high. If you don't do your fastest lap until the second to last lap, then it's probably a little low.
So now here is and that's actually awesome, and I already learned something right there. If I have a tire that's 10 pounds, or if you have a tire that's X amount of PSI, is there anything that says, well, if you tighten it up too much and put too much pressure in it, it's going to... See, I don't know which way to go. It's like, which way do I go? It's like I've been at it for 2.5 years. I can't even put my tires on my own cart.
Well, I'd like to say there is a science to it, right? That if you do X, you get Y as a result, but that's not the case. And the reason why it's not the case is because
it's so awesome.
If I have a customer driving on an OTK chassis and they're in the 4-cycle category and they have the MXJ wheel on it, okay, that might yield a slightly different starting tire pressure, and it might have a different, better operating temperature in the tire than if that driver has MXC wheels on or a set of Douglas magnesiums. And so that information I give a customer may not translate to if somebody's on a CRG or a Brel or something, because the chassis are different. What the chassis do are different. In addition, the wheels make such a huge difference in how that tire heats up.
I like it. I just learned something about tire pressures, and at the same time, I was slightly even more confused, which is even better.
Yeah.
I think that's why it keeps you in the game.
I confuse myself.
Well, at least you got a really nice tire gauge.